Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to Phase 1, Session 3, ZipLogic's Digital Ink 2.0 powered by Authentisign. My name is Robin Thompson, and I'm going to be your trainer for today. So today's webinar is the last session of the Phase 1 learning path, and the next webinar after today's training is Session 1 of Phase 2, and that's going to take you to Transactions, Zipform Edition Advanced Features. And that's where we dig deeper into the platform, exploring even more of the features inside of your account. And I will be showing you where you can go to register for that later on in today's training. Before we begin, I do need to go over a couple of housekeeping items. So first, for audio control, you will not be able to dial into today's training. The only way to listen in today's webinar is through computer audio. I have muted everybody, and simply because we have an extremely large number of attendees today, if you have any questions throughout today's training, please feel free to put your questions into the question box in the GoToWebinar panel. And please take note that the chat box and the raised hand feature are not enabled today. So we do ask that you utilize the question box for any questions you may have. And you don't have to wait. You can put your questions in there at any time. And it's also only going to be myself and my team who will see your questions. It's important that we do get all your questions answered, so I do have help standing by right now to answer your questions as I make my way through the training. So I'd like to say a huge thank you to Jessica, Pierre, Bailey, and Stephen for helping out today. And also to let you know, today's training is being recorded. You each will receive a copy of this recording within 24 hours. And that will be sent to the email address that you use to register for today's training. And again, my name is Robin Thompson, and welcome to ZipLogic's Digital Ink 2.0 powered by Authentisign. So now for the topics that we are going to cover in today's training. So we're going to walk through the difference between a subscription and a member benefit. And then we're going to configure your account. So that really means just changing your account settings so that ZipLogic's Digital Ink 2.0 will be your default e-signing tool. And there are 3 steps to setting up and sending out a signing packet, and we will be taking those steps together. And we're also going to be reviewing the signing editor area, so exploring the tools that are available in there. After which we'll see how to check the status of or modify a signing packet. And I'm also going to be taking you step by step through navigating the digital signing process. So this is more for the benefit of your recipients. So if they call you up asking exactly what they're supposed to do, you will know how to explain the steps to them. And we're going to make our way to where you can access and review copies of signed documents. So there are a few options and a few places where you can retrieve those. And finally, understanding the importance of cybersecurity and two-factor authentication. So two-factor authentication is optional, and it's just adding an additional layer of protection for your clients that you can offer. So I will be showing you how you can set that up if you choose to do so, as well as explaining the benefits of that. I'm just looking, making sure everybody's good on the question box there. So on your screen, you are seeing several states here. If your state is on the screen, it means that you are receiving Digital Ink 2.0 as part of your member benefit currently. So those states include California, Delaware, Hawaii, Indiana, Massachusetts, Montana, New Jersey, South Carolina, Texas, and Wisconsin. If you are not seeing your state, this means that you will have to purchase a subscription to Digital Ink 2.0, and I will show you inside of the platform where you can shop for that subscription. And one thing I want to say before we sign into our transaction Zipform Edition account, today we are only discussing the Digital Ink 2.0 powered by Authentisign. We are not going to be talking about checklists or templates, etc. I just wanted to point that out to everybody. So again, now we are going to sign into our transaction Zipform Edition account. To sign into your account, you do want to go to your browser, and you can type into the browser www.zipformplus.com. If you have single sign-on through either your state or local association or your MLS, you might also sign in through their website. So for example, any California realtors in today's training, everybody in California signs in through the car.org site. Otherwise, you will sign in through here. And to sign in, you would enter your username in the first field, your password in the second. If you forgot either of those, you do have the links at the bottom to reestablish those settings. So we are going to now sign into our Transaction Zipform Edition account. So when we sign into our account, we are landing on our transactions list landing page. So this will show you all of your transactions you've ever created for your account. If you are relatively new, you might only just have a couple of transactions here, and that's totally normal. The first thing we are going to do, however, is we're going to configure our account so that Digital Ink 2.0 is defaulted for use each time I enter my account. So to configure that, we are going to go to the top right-hand corner of our screen. So you're in your account, you're on your transactions list landing page. In the top right-hand corner, we're going to go to our Me dropdown. So clicking on Me, this opens, and now we're going to move down to our profile and settings. And anytime you go into your profile and settings, you are always going to land on your About Me tab. But to configure our e-sign, we are going to move over to the Settings tab. So just to the right, we're going to click on that. So once we're in our settings area, the first category that you come to is your e-sign options. And you want to make sure that Digital Ink 2.0 is checked off and that it also has the correct time zone. So I am in the Pacific time zone, so that's why mine says that. But if you wanted to change it to wherever you are, you would click on the drop down and then you just select whichever time zone you're in. So with regards to time zones, and everybody wants to take note of that, so some states are very particular on having the time zone reflect the specific client location for audit purposes, in which case you, the agent, would need to change your time zone per signer. But if that's not a requirement, then you can just choose your own time zone, and that is best practice, but there are exceptions. So for example, if a state requires it to be in their time zone, and you've got 2 signers in 2 different time zones, you would then need to do 2 separate e-signature packets. If you don't know what your requirements are, it is best to talk to your broker or your association. And again, this really is the exception and not the rule. Most states are fine if it's in the agent's time zone. So under this, we have DocuSign. So this is our partner integration, and we do offer you the option to use DocuSign if you have a DocuSign account. And I will be showing you in a little bit where you can access DocuSign within the signing packet. So now once we've got everything changed here, we've got Digital Ink checked off, we've got our time zone, you always want to make sure you select Save. So now each time I come into my account and I go to create a new signing packet, I'm automatically going to be using Digital Ink 2.0. And that was configuring our account. So not exactly as daunting as you may have thought it was going to be. And now we are going to move up to our dark blue navigation bar, and we're going to go back to our Transactions tab. So that again is going to drop us back to our Transactions list landing page. So we are going to create a brand new signing packet, but first we're going to create a brand new transaction for it. And to create anything new in our Zipform Edition account, you do want to look for a plus sign. So I'm in my transactions list landing page, and I'm going to go to the plus new icon to create a brand new transaction. So this menu of options opens up, and now I need to decide what type of transaction I'm going to create. I have all of these options. You can see right there, and I am going today to create a new purchase transaction. So then I have to give my transaction a name, and under name it says enter name or property address. You could name your transactions by the client's name. I do like to use the property address for myself, and so today I am going to name it 4125 Delta River Drive. So that is the address of the property. And I am actually going to use the MLS Connect tool because I want help to have all the information entered into my transaction. And what MLS Connect tool does, it allows you to import all the MLS data right into your transaction. So it saves you a ton of time because with it, you don't then have to manually enter all that information in. So it not only maximizes efficiency, it totally eliminates form filling, but it also mitigates risk because it's bringing in already verified data. If you do not see MLS Connect inside of your account, you can contact our sales, and I will show you where you can do that at the end of today's training. And also, if you do forget to use the MLS Connect tool at this time, you can still use it later after you've created the transaction. So let's go. We're going to click on MLS Connect. So this launchpad appears, and there are two steps. The first step is choose your MLS. So I'm going to click on the drop-down beside where it says MLS name. I'm going to see the MLSs that have been added into my account. It's going to allow me to choose which one I want to work with today. It might ask you for a username and password too. And the reason being for that is because some MLSs across the country use a RETS password for this instead of the MLS password. Also, here in your Zip account, these may be loaded in as a single sign-on or they may require a password. So I'm going to select my MLS, that one. And now step 2 is find property. Listing type, usually it's defaulted to residential, but with this MLS, they default to cross property. And cross property just means that it will search across all the property types. And next, I need to enter in my listing ID. I do want this to include a property photo, so I'm going to check that box off, and then I'm going to click on Find. So I check over what's now appears below here. I see the house, I see the listing price, $349, Delta, yep, that's the one I want. I go down and I click on Use Listing. So next we have category. So you have to determine what category you want your transaction to be. So there's residential, farm and ranch, condo, etc. Today's transaction is going to be a residential transaction. Next, we have active. So it defaults to we have status. It defaults to active. You could choose whichever you'd like. So it could be a pending transaction. It could even be a prospect. So I am leaving it as active. Next, we have select template. So I'm going to click on this, and now it's showing me all the templates I've ever created in my transaction Zipform edition account. You can choose a template to add to this transaction, but today, to keep it simple, I'm not actually going to choose one. And then finally, comments. You can put any notes or reminders in here, and down at the bottom, we're going to select Save. So now here I am in my new transaction. Anytime you create a transaction, you will always first land in your summary screen. And the summary screen is going to show me all the property information. You can see all this information here was brought in when the MLS got applied to this transaction. So if you had previously forgotten to use the MLS Connect tool, this all would be blank, but you also have the option, again in the Summary tab, and over to the left you have the MLS Connect tool here. You would click on that, it would take you through the same steps we did earlier, but instead of saying use listing, it would now say import, because you've already created your transaction, so you'd be importing the data right now. Now we're going to move to the right of our Summary tab, and we're moving over to Documents. So right now, I don't have any forms or documents as part of this transaction, but I do want to add some, and I can do this in a few ways. I could have, again, when I created the transaction, I could have applied a template, or after I've created the transaction, I could also go to the Apply Template icon, or I could move up to the top right-hand corner to my All Forms library. So again, you're in your Documents tab of your transaction, and to the far right, we've got the All Forms library. Clicking on this shows me all the libraries that I have available to me. So if I click on this drop-down, I have all of these that I could choose from. Today, I do want to use my Zipform demo library. And once you do choose your library, underneath, you will then see all the forms that are available to you within this library. So again, I just wanted to point out that today's training is only about the e-sign packet. I did walk through creating a transaction, But if you wanted to learn more about creating a transaction, you could go to our 1.1, so session 1 of phase 1 training, and that will show you exactly everything about how to create a transaction. So for today's e-sign packet, I am going to choose several documents or forms, my apologies. So I'm going to select the buy-sell agreement, the cover sheet, and the lead-based paint disclosure. To X out of my forms library, I'm going to go to the top right-hand corner and I'm going to click on the red X. So now you can see I've got 3 forms that I've added into my transaction. If I need to add a document from an outside source that's not a part of my internal All Forms library, I can go to the Add Doc icon. Again, Documents tab, Add Doc. Clicking on this will bring up this launchpad, and you do have several options here. So Browse for Document means you could upload a document from your computer files. You can also create a placeholder. So a placeholder is a reminder for you to get a certain document that you may not have in-house yet. And Add Form is actually another access point to your All Forms library. You also have the cloud source option. So we have Dropbox, Google Drive, Box, and OneDrive. You could upload documents from there as well. So I actually do want to bring a file from my computer files. So I'm going to click on Browse for Document. That takes me into my computer files. And I want to find this home inspection report. So I'm going to click on that. And I'm going to go down. It gives you this option to, or this opportunity at this time to make sure that this is the document you want. And then you go down and click on OK. So we've got our 3 All Forms internal forms. We have our PDF document. And I'm actually going to create a folder as well. And to do that, under the Documents tab, I'm going to click on the Add Folder icon. And I'm going to name this my Executed Docs folder. I've done this several times, so it does show Executed Docs here. It populates it automatically, but you would yourself would need to type that out. Then I'm going to click on OK. So now I have my 3 fillable forms, my PDF document, and my Executed Docs folder. So now we are going to start our signing packet. So everybody take note of this. So there are 4 vital things that you will need to send the signing packet out for signing. You're always going to need the role of the individual. So maybe that's a buyer or a lawyer or a second buyer. You're also going to need the first name and last name and a valid email address for the individual. So again, you see I've got these forms and documents that I want to be a part of this transaction, but now I need to add my parties to this transaction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to utilize my cover sheet. And the reason I'm selecting the cover sheet is because cover sheets tend to have the most global field information. So the more information you can fill out in a cover sheet, the less time it's going to take you to fill out your transaction with all of the key people and information, because the information you input into your cover sheet will actually flow from one form to another. So here we have the role, buyer 1. So we've got the role. Now we need to add the first name and last name. So Velma Buyer, she's my buyer for today. So the role is buyer 1, name, Velma Buyer, and now we need to add a valid email address. And I just want to point out this email address here. So this is actually just to an account which is used for this specific training, so that I myself can open up each of the emails sent to these roles as I'm going through the training, so I can show you what that looks like. If you have different email addresses, that would be totally normal, because the system is going off of the role, not the email address. So say you have 2 buyers, and even if it's the same email address, if you have it set up so that you want buyer 1 to sign first and buyer 2 to sign second, the system is only going to look at making sure that buyer 1 signs first and buyer 2 signs second. They're not actually going to look at the email address. So scrolling down, I'm going to go find my selling broker information, and I want to put myself in as the selling agent. So the role is selling agent, first name, last name, and a valid email address. So again, the other names that you see here have been brought in using the MLS Connect feature, and it pulled that information right inside here. So once I'm done listing the individuals that I want to be a part of my transaction, I go to the top and I go to the top left-hand corner and I click on the back button to go back into my documents. You can see it automatically says it's saved. I did not need to click on the save button, so it did automatically save. So now I'm actually going to select another document. So I'm going to open up this buy-sell agreement. The reason I'm showing you another document is just to show you how that information populates from one form to another. So here on line 4, you can see Velma buyer's name. And that's because I put that information into the cover sheet. And this information you see here is because I use the MLS Connect tool. So again, as much information as you can fill out on a cover sheet, the less work you'll have because the information will be filled on the forms for you. Now I'm going to click back. I'm going to go to the top left-hand corner and back out of here. So now we're back in our documents area, and I just want to show you a couple of things here. So you see these forms with the blue triangle. It says ZFX in the corner. Those are Zipform fillable forms. And when you get to the signing portion, your forms from your internal forms library, which are these, they are going to act differently than a PDF document that you might upload into the system. So with your internal forms, they will pre-populate all the signature blocks for your clients to stamp and sign, and the PDF document will not. So here you can see my home inspection report, and you can see that it's got the red triangle. So this means not just that it's a PDF report, but that means that you're going to have to manually put those signature blocks in here. So again, anything with a red triangle is going to indicate that in my signing packet, I'm manually going to have to pre-tag those signature blocks. Those with blue triangles will automatically pre-populate the signature blocks for me. And just another note of information. So say, for example, if you receive an offer through DocuSign, what you would do, you would then need to upload that document into your Zip account using your Add Doc icon. Like I did with this home inspection report, I brought it from my computer files. And when you upload anything into your Zip account, it automatically turns it into a PDF. And then you'd proceed with it like you would with any PDF, which I'm actually going to show you right now. So I now have all my forms and I'm ready to start that signing packet for Velma. And one way to access the signing area is you're in your transaction, you're under your documents tab. You could go to the far left-hand side in your documents tab to the eSign icon. But another way to access your eSign screen is to the right of your documents, you go to the eSign tab. Either one of these will take you to the signing area for this transaction. So once inside here, I'm in my eSign tab, we're going to notice that there are no signing packets that are going out for signing. And that's because we have not created any yet. So we are going to start a new eSign packet. And to do that, what do we do? We are looking for a plus icon, plus new icon. So I'm going to click on this. Now this launch pad appears, and we now have to select the documents that we want to send out. So the documents you're seeing here are all the documents that are part of my transaction that I brought from my All Forms library and also from my computer files. So I'm going to select a few things here. I'm going to select the buy-sell agreement and the home inspection report. So at this point, if you realize that you have yet another document, so an external document that you want to add to this eSign packet, you can go to the top and you can click on the Add External Documents. So clicking on that opens up this menu of options. Again, you could upload one from your computer files by selecting Browse for Document, or you could upload one from any of these cloud source options. I'm not going to add an additional document, so I am going to go to the bottom and click on Close. So once we've added all of our documents, and after we've selected Close, it drops you into a screen that shows you are now in the first step of creating your signing packet. So as you can see at the top, it says Step 1. In Step 1, we need to give our signature packet a name. So I typically rename it after the client, but if you don't, the generic name for this would just be eSign packet 1. If you did have to create another signing packet in this same transaction and you didn't change the name again, it would then say eSign packet 2. So I am going to name this packet, and I'm going to name it after my client, so Velma Buyer. And next we've got signing service, and you can see we automatically defaulted to Digital Ink 2.0 because of how we configured it in our profile and settings. However, if there is an instance that you need to change this, this is where you do have the opportunity to click on the drop-down, and then you do have the opportunity to select DocuSign. After signing service, we have return folder. So when you complete a signing packet, a folder will actually automatically be created and placed in the documents area of your transaction with your signed documents inside. But if you wanted those finished and signed documents to land in a different folder, so for example, like the one we created named Executed Documents, you could then set that up right here. So I'm going to click on this. And now I get to choose which folder I want it to go to, and I'm going to select my Executed Docs. That is the folder we created earlier. Now at the bottom, select Done. After that, we have this plus doc icon. So this is yet another opportunity to add an additional document to your signing packet. You can click on this and select more documents to add. After that, we have our documents. So I can see the ones that I had selected to send out for signing. If you wanted to change the order in which you send the forms and documents out, you could just click on this crosshair here and drag. So click, hold, and drag and drop. Click, hold, and drag and drop. I do want my buy-sell agreement to go first and my home inspection report to go second. If you had accidentally added a document in here that you didn't want to be here, you could go to the far right and you'd click on the trash can, and that would remove the document. So now I'm going to move up to the top. We're in step 1, and now we're going to move over to step 2. So we're going to move to the far right, and we're going to click on the green next. So that drops us into step 2. So in step 2, this is where we select all the individuals that we want to be participants within this signing packet. You're going to get this launchpad, gives you a ton of options here actually. So it always lands on the transaction parties. You can see where you are because it's underlined in green. So we're in our transaction parties section. So I could select individuals from here to be participants in the signing process. At the top, however, there are also all these other areas I could select participants from. So my Zipform contacts, all these cloud options as well. I could even go to the plus new icon and I could add somebody that's not even a part of any of this. So I am going to select Velma Buyer and then myself, the realtor, and I'm going to go down, and now I'm going to click on close. So if you had, for example, you thought, oh, I do want to add somebody else. So if, for example, you did not see the name of the individual that you wanted to add in that launchpad, you could go to the far left and you see an add signers icon. So this might be used in cases, for example, where Velma's lawyer may need to sign off on a document, for example. So to create that new individual, you'd click on the add signer. And again, you would need to fill out the 4 vital sections that you will need to send the signing packet out for signing. This launchpad appears and you go up to the top and you click on the plus new icon. So you'd need the first name, the last name, the role, and a valid email address. I'm not going to add anybody additional to this, so I am going to close out of this. So say, for example, you wanted to add a reviewer. So there may be cases where there's a designated individual in your office that needs to review your signing packets before they go out for signing. So if you have such a person in your office and you need to include them to be a part of the signing packet, you have this icon that says Add Reviewer. So I'm going to click on this. So again, the same launchpad is going to appear, and we are going to go again to the plus new icon. So this is not a signer, so it does not ask for the role. So it does ask for the first name, the last name, and a valid email address. After you enter that information in, you would go down to the bottom and you would click Add Signer. Now this is a little misleading because it says Add Signer. You're not adding a signer, you're adding the reviewer. Nonetheless, you would need to select Add Signer. I'm not adding a reviewer today, so I'm just going to close out of this. So now down here, we see the people that are participating in my signing packet. And one question I've had is, does the other party need to also have a transaction Zipform Edition account to sign the signing packets? No, the other parties do not have to have Zipforms. They're able to access the signing invite through their email and it won't be in Zipforms. I had another question. Somebody asked, is today's training being recorded? Yes, this is being recorded and everybody will receive a copy of the recording within 24 hours after the training has ended, and that will be sent to the email address that you used to register for today's training. So now here we are, and the first thing we see is signing order, and this box is checked on. And next to the participant's name, there's a designated number. So what this number indicates is the order in which they will sign the contract. So in this position, we have Velma Buyer, and she's number 1. So what will happen is that when I send the packet out for signing, Velma here will get the invitation first. She'll open it, complete her signing tasks, and then the next person in line will receive a signing invitation. So myself, Robin the Realtor. I will start the process of signing. And this process will continue until the whole signing packet has been completed. So you could have 10 people here, and if you have them in a signing order, nobody else will receive a signing invite until the person before them has completed their signing. And if we wanted to change the order, again, anytime you see crosshairs, it means you can drag and drop. So you could just click on the crosshair, drag and drop, and now change the signing order. You also have the number drop downs here, and you can utilize those as well to change the signing order. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to make myself signer 2. And Velma again is 1, and myself is 2. Regarding signing order, I keep putting these little information notes out there. So this is entirely up to you as the agent, whether or not having your clients sign in a specific order is necessary or not. You could uncheck this, and then there would not be a signing order. Check it if you do want them to sign in order. So today I'm just showing you how you can set that up if you decide it's important. But again, it's entirely up to you as the agent. So next to signing order, we have the name and role. And that's the name and role of these individuals. So again, Velma Buyer and Buyer 1, Robin Realtor, selling agent. To the right of that, we have email. And of course, you want to make sure that the email is accurate. You do have the option, if it's not, to correct it at this time. And anytime you see a pencil icon, so to the far right of the name, you see a pencil icon, that means that you have the chance to edit something. So I'm going to click on the pencil icon, and I could change the email address if I wanted to. I'm not going to change it, so I'm going to cancel out of that. After email, we have the CC button. So this means that a carbon copy of the signed contract will be sent out to these individuals. After CC button, we have cybersecurity. So this is optional, and as it states on the screen, it's to protect sensitive information by requiring a signer to enter an SMS code before they sign their documents. So cybersecurity really is a two-factor authentication system. It does add an extra layer of security to protect when accessing documents which contain personal identity information. With that being said, your transaction Zipform Edition account is extremely safe, but you may have customers out there that just feel more secure with that extra layer of security. And cybersecurity protection is a $5 cost that you pay right here on the spot for each signing packet that you send out for signing. But if I have, say I had 50 people as part of my signing packet, it is still only going to cost me $5 to add this additional layer of security. If I have 20 forms and documents as part of the signing packet, it's still only going to cost $5. It is per signing packet. And what this does, it sends a unique one-time code via text message to each person accessing a transaction document. And to turn it on, we would click on the drop-down, and then you could choose SMS authentication. You would then need to add a valid mobile phone number, but if you don't want it on, just keep it to choose the security option and then it is off. Also, if you need to delete an individual, say you accidentally added somebody here that you don't want to be a part of the signing packet, you have the option to go to the far right and click on the trash can, and that will remove the person from the signing process. I just want to make sure everybody is on track. Everything's still good with our training. Everybody can hear and see. Just want to check. Perfect. Okay, thank you. So after that, we have this CC list up here. So this one will allow you to carbon copy anybody that's not a part of this signing packet. So this one CCs everybody that is a part of the signing packet, but you do have an opportunity to include someone else. So for example, again, if Velma's lawyer wants to receive a carbon copy of the signed documents once they have been completed, you could click on the CC list. Then you could add that brand new person. So the plus icon right here is to add a brand new person. So I'm going to click on that. Then I'd need to enter a first name, a last name, and a valid email address. So then once the signing packet has been completed, it will send a carbon copy of the signing packet to this individual. You also have the opportunity in here to add somebody that's already a part of your contacts list. I'm not going to add anyone else, so I'm going to cancel out of that. So next we have the time zone. So we've already defaulted our time zone for Pacific, but again, depending on where you are located, it's going to say something different. If you need to change this, you would then click on Change. Then you can click on the drop-down and you would select whichever time zone you wish. And I just want you to take note, this is your last opportunity to make sure the time zone is correct. So now we're done here. We're going to want to proceed to step 3. So it says here, add signatures is step 3. But step 3 is really the design process. It's you as the agent reviewing the documents and contracts and adding what is needed so they will then be ready for signature. So to move to step 3, we're going to go to the far right-hand corner and we're going to click on Next. So this is taking us to step 3. On the far left, we're going to see the forms and documents that we're sending out for signing. So we have the buy-sell agreement. So as I start to move down through these forms, you're going to notice that some of these lines have been pre-tagged with initial and signature blocks. So you can see Robin Realtor. So again, your forms from your internal All Forms library are going to pre-tag these signature blocks for your clients on these forms. But as I move down and we get to that PDF document, eventually, here we go. So remember that home inspection report that I uploaded into the system from my computer files? It's a PDF document. So we're going to notice that this document does not pre-tag the signature blocks for your customers. So any PDF document that's a third-party source document and you upload it to be a part of the signing process, you are manually going to have to pre-tag the signature blocks for your clients to sign. So this also would be like, as I mentioned earlier, a DocuSign offer. You would upload that DocuSign offer into your transaction. It'll turn into a PDF, and then you'll manually have to pre-tag the signature blocks for your clients to sign. So we've got our PDF document, and now what we're going to do, we're going to move up to the top right where it says Signers. We notice that Velma Buyer's name is in this box. If I click on this drop-down, it's going to show me everybody that has a signing action within this signing packet. So we do have Velma Buyer and myself, Robin Realtor. I just wanted to make note to everybody, so the chat feature and the raised hand feature are not enabled in today's training. So if you have questions, please put your questions into the question box. And I've got a great team of people who are helping me right now with that. Everybody's good? Perfect. Thank you. So we're going to click on Velma's name. We're going to keep her name there. And under Velma's name, it says drag and drop. I'm going to click on that. And when I click on that, that's going to open up our toolbox. So I just wanted to make note that the description of what all these tools are is one of the handouts in the GoToWebinar handout section. So if you want to grab that, you can grab that right now. So these are all the tools that we can use when working with our signers. So I'm not going to go into them all in detail because there is a description later on. There is a place later on that will describe exactly what they're used for. And again, I put that handout into the GoToWebinar handout section for you guys. So I'm going to take this first tool. So this is the Sign Here tool. I'm going to click, hold it, and I'm going to drag it down to the sign line. So I want to make sure that Velma knows exactly where she's supposed to sign. So what this does, it adds an e-signature field to the document, and signers must double-click the field to add their signature to it later on when they're going through the signing process. So this in red means that it is required. Green means it's optional. Again, initials as well, and optional initials. So now this is a movable box. I could click on it and I could move it around wherever I want. I do want it to be on the sign line. And now I'm going to move up here to where it says signer name. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to bring that down. So now Velma's name is under the sign line. So that's just additional direction. So Velma looks at the document and she knows exactly where she's supposed to sign. To the right of her name, we see date. So you can go up to the toolbox again, and where this stamp and calendar icon are, if you click on that, you can drop that down to the date line. So when Velma, excuse me, so when Velma is going through and she's signing these documents, when she starts the process, it will automatically insert the date right there. So when Velma is completed her signing portion, it will automatically insert the date right here on the document. She will click here to do her signature, and I'll show you how that works later on. So back in my toolbox, I've got my signer name, I've got my signature line, and now maybe I want to put a box here. So, you know, Velma, she might want to add something to this later on. So I'd go to this text tool. I'm going to click on that, drag it down, and now I'm adding a text box here. So this is only for Velma. So when she's going through her signing portion, she is the only one that would be able to type something into here. Now there aren't any more fields for anyone to sign, but I'm going to create some because myself as the agent, I have to sign as well. So I'm going to go up to the top where it says signers. I'm going to go to the drop down, click on that. And now I'm going to choose myself, Robin Realtor. So clicking there, and now all these tools are pertaining to myself. So I want to put somewhere for myself to sign. So I'm going to drag this tool down. You can see my name is there. I just wanted to point out this little gray box appears, and what this is, so say you put this here, you see this invisible box. If you wanted to delete this, you could click on this, and you could just hit delete on your keyboard, or you could go down and you could click on the trash can. And there's also this gear icon. If I click on this, it also gives you all these options. So one thing I recommend for everybody is that you create a practice e-sign, and then you could just play around with all these tools and on your own discover as well how all of this works. It's quite cool. To make this invisible box disappear, you just click on the outside of it. So now I also need to put my name underneath so I know exactly where I'm supposed to go, and I want a date stamp to go there as well. So now I've manually pre-tagged these action items for my clients on the home inspection report. And again, you can take a look at all of these tools. There is more descriptive detail. I'll be showing you where that's located in just a moment. So now also for you as the agent, you might want to add a comment or note. So I'm going to go up to the top right-hand corner, and I've got my name. I'm going to go down to markup tools now. So clicking on that. So now I have all these tools. I could enter a text box. I could write something freehand. I could put this ellipsis around. I also could insert a square, highlight, and I could cross something out. So take note with the strikeout or crossout feature though, each state is different, so you will want to check with your state to make sure that you can use the strikeout feature. So I'm the realtor, I'm looking at all this, I'm going, uh-oh, this is a wrong phone number here. So I'm going to go to my highlighter, I'm going to select it, then I'm going to highlight this. I didn't make it very good, so I'm going to click on it. Now I can actually drag it. I can make it as small as I want. And so I've highlighted it, so my client should see that. But now I also want to strike it out. So I click on the strikeout feature, and now I'm going to strike it out. And now I want to enter the correct phone number in there, so I'm going to click on this text box. So here, where we were earlier, it says drag and drop. So that means you have to always click on the icon, drag and drop. With the markup tool, it works differently. I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to click on where I want it to go, and now the box appears. So again, this is not drag and drop, it's clicking, you click, and then you click. So now I'm going to enter in, oops, put an extra one there, the right phone number. And also, so say you put this in and you didn't want it, you could just click on it and you could also delete that as well. So now I'm going to go over these tools. So underneath markup, we have zoom. Zoom is you can zoom in and out of the page, just like any zoom feature. Pages allows you to quickly shuffle through the pages. So go right to the beginning, to the end, etc. And next we've got layouts. So it can often be time consuming having to manually pre-tag these action items on certain forms. But let's say you have the same home inspection report and you know that it has to be signed by all of the clients of every transaction every single time. So you do have the option to then save the work you've done here, save it as a layout, and then later on, if you have the same kind of form happening on your next transaction, your next e-sign packet, you could then select apply layout. So it just saves you a lot of work. And after that, we have the gear icon, which is our options. So again, you are going to see all of those tools. I did put a handout in the GoToWebinar handout section that will explain exactly what the blue X is, the red X, and the sign here, optional, etc. And I'm showing you right away as well a place you can find that too. So on the options, you have the option to clear any of the markups you've just made, and you can even print and download this as well. And finally, we have our help icon. So clicking on the help icon, this takes us to our corporate company website. And if you want a more descriptive detail of how all these tools work, and this is actually the handout that I put into the handout box, it shows it all right here. So the red sign, the optional signature. And if you go to the very bottom, it actually breaks down into steps how to do the signing process as well. So a lot of good information here. And once you get to here, you can actually bookmark this as well. So you always have this when you're not just creating a e-sign packet. So now I'm going to go back to my document. I'm going to click out of this. So now we're back in our document. So once I'm done with my signing packet, I look at everything, everything looks great. I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to select next. So this is going to drop us into the last step, which is sending out the signing. So you could click on send invitations and that would send the invitation with a generic message or invitation to your clients to sign the documents. But you also have the option to customize your invitation. So I'm going to click on customize. So maybe you want instructions for your clients on how to work their way through the signing packet. So I'm going to copy and paste here. I'm going to copy and paste my instructions I put on a Word document right into here. And now the client has instructions. So number one, click start signing, etc. So I just want to point out that this information I put in here is also one of the handouts in the GoToWebinar section. So you have this whole instructions for signing in the GoToWebinar handout section. if you want to use that as well. So I'm just going to put that, well, I guess that's myself, I don't need that, e-sign for Velma buyer. And once you're done adding whatever you'd like, you go to the top and you're going to click on Save. So now we get this, we're back to that screen. We know we've customized our invitation, and so the final step of this is to click Send those invitations. And now we get this thank you, this nice thank you message, very much. Have a great day. Now we're going to X out of this and let's go back to our transaction. So we're back to our transaction, 4125 Delta River Drive, the e-sign tab. I am going to actually refresh this by clicking on another tab. Do that one more time. Go back to e-sign. And now we can see this yellow thing here and it says in progress. Yay! So this is indicating that the signing packet is in progress because it's yellow. So if I click on this envelope, it's going to open up the status of this signing packet. So we can see Velma buyer pending, Robin Realtor pending, nobody signed anything yet. So up here, if you want to take note of this, there is a cancel button. So I do have the opportunity to cancel this signing packet. Maybe I messed something up and I need to cancel it quickly. I can cancel it right away. So there is also an edit icon here as well. Remember the pencil icon? But one thing about this one is, so if you click on this, it's going to ask you to confirm that you want to edit this. If you do select confirm, it will actually suspend the signing packet. And if you suspend the signing packet, everybody that is a part of the signing process will then get a notification email letting them know that the signing packet has been suspended. And then you would make your edits, and once you've completed your edits, you'd come back to this area. It would no longer say edit, where the pencil icon is, it would say resume. Then when you resume a signing packet, once again, everybody that's a part of the signing process will then get a notification email letting them know that the signing packet has resumed and everybody can continue to sign the signing packet. I am not going to edit or suspend this at this time. I don't have enough time for that. So now I'm going to go to my email inbox. X out of this. I'm going to open up my email to see if those signing invitation emails have come through. So I see right here, yes, one has come through. So this is Velma's. Remember, we had Velma as signer number 1, and it's hello, Velma buyer. Robin Realtor is inviting you to participate as a signing party. And here is the copy and paste information I put into the invitation. It formats it this way. It won't format it straight up and down, but this still works. So Velma's going to go and she's going to click on Start Signing. Once Velma starts the signing process, the first step is she's going to be asked to adopt a signature. And there are 2 ways that Velma can adopt a signature. One is to draw one, or one is to select font style. This Velma signature is in here already just because I've done this a few times, but I do want to show you how that works. So I'm going to move over and I'm going to click on Draw Signature. And excuse my writing here. I should have been a doctor. So once you sign, you select Next. Now initials, Velma, buyer, and now I'm going to select Adopt Signature. So Velma looks at this, she's happy with the way it looks, so she's going to go to the bottom, she's going to select Accept. Once Velma has accepted her signature, to start the signing process, Velma will have to go up to the top right-hand corner and she's going to select the red Start. And this is part of the instructions that I put in the invitation. She's going to click Start. Now over to the left, the progress that Velma's making on the signing portion is going to start to move as she clicks to stamp her signatures. The red arrow is going to indicate for Velma where she needs to click to stamp her initials and signatures. And you can see at the top, the progress is happening. She just keeps clicking. And click, click. And now here you can see the box that So this is only Velma who can type into here. So she's going to put a little note in here for myself, the realtor. She's going to say, I saw that the garage door was broken. Not cool. So Velma puts that in. She's reporting, letting me know that there's something wrong with that. And when Velma is done, she's going to get this pop-up that gives her these options. She can complete signing, she can stay and review, or she can reset. If Velma wants to stay and review the document, she totally can. And when she's done reviewing, she just needs to select complete signing. And once she gets this nice thank you so much, and she clicks on OK. So for a reviewer, the task that they'd have to be would be to review. So they'd look at the document, make sure it's all good, and then they'd select complete review. So no signing action on the packet for a reviewer. So now let's go back into our signing packet. Again, I'm going to refresh. And we're going to click back on the envelope. Now we can see that Velma has completed her signing portion. So let's say, for instance, she had called up and said, hey, I didn't receive that signing packet. Can you resend it to me? To the far right, you see there's an envelope. So if I clicked on that flying envelope, it's going to send the invitation out again. So maybe it got lost in cyberspace. Maybe you had the wrong email address. If you had the wrong email address, again, we've got the pencil icon, which means you could edit it. So I could click on that and I could change the email address. So you also have below the individual forms that were sent out for signing. And when you send it out for signing, everything comes back. It's converted into a PDF document. So you can see the buy-sell agreement here. That's why you're seeing the buy-sell agreement is now in a PDF form. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to close this. And let's go back to our email. So now you can see AuthentiSign. Anytime a person has taken action on your signing packet, you as the agent are also going to get notified through email letting you know that the action has been taken on your signing packet. So we've got an action has taken place, Velma buyer has accepted. So again, you do get notifications on what is going on with the signing packet. I'm going to go back to my inbox and now Robin Realtor. Now I can see here's my invitation. I just want to point out we only have 4 minutes left. I am going to keep going. You will receive a copy of this recording. So if you do have to leave, you will receive that recording of this training. So myself, I'm going to click on Start Signing. And first thing I have to do is I have to adopt my signature. I like this. I am going to select a font style. I'm going to choose that one. And now I'm going to go up and select Save. So yep, I like that. I go down, I select Accept. And to start, top right-hand corner, I'm going to click on Start. And I click to stamp my signature. And now I select Complete Signing. Again, this nice thank you message. Okay. And now I'm going to X out of this, and we're going to go to my account again. Transaction Zipform account, back to our transaction, back to the eSign tab. I'll refresh once more. Just want to show you. Yay. Now we have a green box check marked off and it says completed. So I'm going to click on this. So now it shows that everybody has completed their portion. And we have down here as well, it says view details and history. So I can click on this. This gives us a nice audit trail of everything that's happened in the signing packet. You can even click on these drop-down arrows just to give a little bit more information. And also, open this back up, you have retrieve signed documents. So I'm going to click on this, and what this does, it transfers all these documents that have been signed to the documents area inside of my transaction. So right away, I'm going to show you. So it says that has successfully happened. I'm going to X out of this. Let's go to our documents area. And you see these forms and the document from before, but you also see the executed docs folder we created. So I'm going to click on this. And now you can see, once I open up that folder, we're now able to see the AuthentiSign documents. So we've got the buy-sell agreement, home inspection report, We also have a signing certificate. So this is a really nice thing to give your clients, but it also shows complete details of every step of the signing, right down to the IP address. So the exact time, stamp, date stamp, IP address, etc. You can send this out by email or via Zip Community. You could even print it, download it, etc. And before we go, I do want to show you under your shop tab. So in your navigation bar, your shop tab, where you can go to get Digital Ink 2.1 subscription. So I'm going to show you that and search. And now you can see right here, Digital Ink annual subscription. So you can shop for that right inside your shop tab. And finally, under your help tab and then Learning Center, we are going to go over to our live training. We're going to go to our training calendar so you can see where you can register for the next session. So we are in fundamentals. So next you are going to be advancing to advanced. So your next session you do want to go to is Transaction Zipform Edition Advanced Features. And you can see it's offered on these dates as well as these dates. It's offered every month, every week. And that concludes today's training. So I do want to thank everybody so much for joining me today and my team for answering all my questions for me. If you have any questions additionally, you can always email to trainingteam@lwolf.com. Please connect with us on Facebook, now that it's working, Twitter, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We always encourage you to do that. And certainly our YouTube videos, take the time to check those out. Our customer care line is 866-279-9653. If you're needing any additional products like MLS Connect or subscription, our sales are 866-279-9653. And again, us training team at lwolf.com. We always encourage you to reach out to us if you ever have any questions. Thank you so much, everybody. Stay safe and have an absolutely wonderful day. Take care. Bye.